Hello, everybody. This is Dr. David Jockers, and today we're talking about 8 ways to beat a cold or flu fast. I know all of us have at some point suffered with a cold or even a flu. I mean, the average American gets 2 to 3 colds every single year that can last up to 10 days. So you think if you got 2 that each lasted 10 days, that's 20 days out of the year that you're dealing with a cold. We know that 1/3 of the population will deal with the flu each year, which can be a little bit more serious and a little bit more severe, which is what we're talking about. And so I'm going to go over natural strategies that don't include using a flu vaccine in order to improve your immune system and allow you to prevent or beat colds and flus this year. And so if you don't know me, my name is Dr. David Jockers, and I'm a doctor of natural medicine, and I really specialize in helping people improve their performance and their life. I speak all around the country on a number of different health topics, including immune system. And this is my wife, Angel, my little boys, David and Joshua. And so what's the difference between a cold and a flu? And so we know that with a flu, it's usually a very quick onset. Sneezing typically is not a big issue with the flu, whereas a cold, you'll often notice excessive sneezing. That's one of the big issues. And cold is usually gradual, where it's kind of gradually increasing in the amount of symptoms. You kind of notice it mild in the beginning and it gets worse over time. Sore throat and cough. Yeah. And so typically the flu, you notice it right away. With a common cold, it comes on again over time. It kind of ramps up. Muscle aches, that's a big issue with flu. With the flu, you typically notice more stiffness and pain in your body than you would with a cold. Also, your fatigue typically with the flu is severe, partially because you're often dehydrated. You're running a strong temperature, and your body's using a lot of metabolic energy, and that's going to drain some water. So that's a big issue. Chest symptoms, yes, you definitely can have that with the flu. Typically don't have those with a cold. The duration is usually longer, particularly the severity with a flu. And of course, the overall temperature is higher. The fever is higher with the flu. And your body really creates a fever for an important reason. A fever actually helps reduce microorganism content. So with viruses, you need to get the temperature up to 102 degrees to stop the viral replication. So that's really why the body does that. On top of that, actually stimulating a fever helps the body increase T helper cells, T killer cells. So all the immune components work better in that higher temperature. So it's very, very important for the body to produce that fever. And that's one reason why you wouldn't want to take a fever reducer. So that's very important. So this is really the difference between a cold and a flu. And so here are some of the major symptoms that you could have a flu. Well, number one is, again, high, strong fever, like we talked about. You need the fever to be 101 degrees to really destroy bacteria, to kill bacteria, 102 degrees to stop viral replication. We know the flu, if it's diagnosed correctly, it's a viral issue. And so we need that temperature up in order to really stop that process and allow your body to recover. And so there's going to be a lot of inflammation produced, which can cause that body pain. You're using a lot of metabolic energy. You're really draining a lot of your resources. So you're going to be fatigued. Oftentimes you're going to have chills, right? And so your body can have chills because it's struggling to adapt to temperatures. And it's part of, part of the process of shunting blood into vital organs to protect the vital organs. And so you'll notice that some chills from time to time. Headaches are common, especially because your body's using a lot of water. And also the inflammation will cause basically different issues with the blood vessels, the circulation, dilation, and constriction, which can cause a headache. Cough, your body may be producing a lot of mucus and sputum and trying to really collect stuff in the throat, so you can develop the cough. Sore throat, very, very common as your body's trying to get rid of this infection. Respiratory problems, dizziness, vomiting, and diarrhea, as you can see there. Your body's really just trying to expel toxins. And it's using a lot of its vital resources, which can contribute to dizziness, the fatigue, different issues that we've been talking about here. And so here are 8 ways to beat a cold or flu fast. This is what I always have my clients do if they are noticing this. So if you notice that your body is getting run down, you want to get started with this right away. Like, honestly, these are things you want to be doing on a continual basis to keep your body immune proof, right? Keep that immune system super strong, but definitely things you'll do if you notice that your body is a little bit more susceptible. All of us are susceptible to developing cold or flu. So we've got to really take good care of our body, and especially during the more stressful periods of time. So number one, eating light. What does that do for us? When we eat a lot of food, it puts a lot of stress in our body. We've got to use a lot of energy for digestion, which leaves less energy available for the immune system. So eating light, doing a lot of broths and herbal teas, and possibly shakes or green juices. So you want to get a lot of nutrients in because your body needs those resources, but you don't want to put a lot of stress in the digestive system. So liquids are really, really good because they're light. Okay, you can also do vegetables, which are really easy in the digestive system, as opposed to meat. That would obviously be a lot harder, and starches a lot harder in the digestive system. So I don't recommend doing a lot of meats or doing a lot. So stay off of a lot of the higher proteins as well as starches for sure during this season. So that way you can really just prevent it. And if you do have it, obviously to overcome it. This is what I do. If I feel like I'm worn down, it's one of the first things I do is I'll do intermittent fasting, just longer fasting, maybe just do liquid meals, do soups and stews where the meat that's maybe in there is cooked down to where it's really easy in the digestive system. I want to use a lot of herbs, right? So hydrating well, you got to really, really hydrate the body. And then also using healing herbs like garlic, oregano, basil, thyme, things like that, turmeric, ginger. These are really, really powerful herbs to help stimulate and strengthen the immune system. Using essential oils can be really powerful. You're able to breathe those in. That aromatherapy is so good for the immune system. So putting in different essential oils like thyme essential oil and rosemary and oregano and different things like that. You can get a whole blends that are there to support your immune system. Getting good high quality sun exposure. So that's so powerful for the immune system. Just getting out in the sun, so powerful. Oftentimes people are developing the cold and the flu in the winter when they're inside all day and they're just not able to expose themselves to good UV light. So as often as you can, try to get out in the sun. That's so important for immune function. Grounding your body, getting your bare feet on grass, dirt, sand, concrete really helps neutralize any sort of negative electromagnetic frequencies that you may have gotten from your computer, your cell phone, your microwave, different things like that. So grounding your body every day, 10 minutes or so outside if you're able to. It's awesome. Obviously in the wintertime, it's a lot harder to do that. It's a lot harder to get 5 and 6 in the wintertime, depending on where you live. And so that's why, the other 6 components here are that much more important during that season. And definitely when you're able to, like in the summer months, spring and fall, getting that good sun exposure and grounding your body is key. Chiropractic care, because basically if there's stress on the spine and nervous system, that's going to impair the immune system. And so getting pressure and stress off of the spine is one of the most powerful things you can do for your immune system. Really, really helps your body produce more T helper cells to help balance out the immune system, to have just a greater immune drive to go after and kill off bad bacteria and viruses. And then vitamin C supplementation. I could talk a lot about some different supplements. Zinc is also really key. But if there was one supplement when you have a cold or flu, it's kind of a toss-up between vitamin C and vitamin D. You really need them. If you're getting the sun exposure, I would definitely you're getting some vitamin D from that, so then vitamin C would be that much more important. Okay, so fasting. I was talking about why I do this. When we fast, we naturally reduce stress in our digestive system. We improve energy production into our immune system, and that's going to help reduce inflammation and improve our phagocytic index, basically our white blood cells' ability to consume and destroy pathogens, viruses, bacteria, different things like that. It also helps stimulate cellular autophagy, where the cells themselves will destroy abnormal dysfunctional cells. And viruses are intracellular parasites, meaning that they're not parasites in an organ, they're parasites in the cell, in the actual cellular component. So fasting is so good for reducing viral replication and killing cells that are infected by viruses. So doing intermittent fasting, like a 20 to 24 hour, very low protein, like no protein basically, and just doing tons and tons of liquids. So staying off all the carbs and the proteins, just doing tons of liquids. So important for the body. So lots of water. You can do water with lemon, where you get the vitamin C and the bioflavonoids in there. You can do broths, diluted broths, so it's not a lot of protein. Just maybe some free-form amino acids in there and some minerals. That's a great approach. So you're drinking that. That's going to really support your immune system. Meanwhile, your body is going to be able to produce the autophagy, killing off these abnormal cells that have developed. And also on top of that, human growth hormone is going to elevate, which helps strengthen your overall immune system and your ability to hunt down and regulate abnormal cells, as well as pathogens, viruses, bacteria, yeast. So very important. So one big mistake people make is they wait until they're thirsty to drink water. We really need to be supporting our hydration all throughout the day. Okay, we need to constantly be drinking water, consuming water every hour. You want to be consuming at least 8 ounces of water. And so unless you're with a meal, right? If you're eating a solid food meal, you wouldn't want to do that. But of course, like I said, if you're following the eat light principles when it comes to beating the cold or flu, then you can absolutely be drinking throughout the day. And I would recommend that. I would recommend drinking, basically about 2 ounces per, about 2 ounces per pound of body weight, or I'm sorry, 2 per kilogram of body weight. So basically, if I'm 70 kilograms body weight, then I want to be drinking at least 140 ounces daily. So 2 ounces per kilogram of body weight is a great principle for how much hydration you want to be getting in. And you want to count soups and stews if you're drinking those, broths, herbal teas, all that counts in that hydration. And so these are things you want to be doing, drinking a lot of water, using herbs like garlic. Garlic is so powerful for the immune system. We talked about using a lot of herbs. So making a broth and loading it up with garlic can be one of the most powerful things that you do. Garlic has allicin, which is really, really powerful antibacterial, also very powerful antiviral and antiparasitic agent. So really good to use. Garlic, onions are also really good, and then ginger. I'm a huge fan of doing ginger tea. Ginger tea is great if you are dealing with a cold or flu, or you're just feeling like your body's run down and you're more susceptible. Start drinking ginger tea or herbal teas that have ginger in them, and you will notice big improvement with your immune system. How about broth? We've been talking about bone broth. So good. So doing a soup or stew with good high quality bone broth provides the key amino acids for your immune system. And on top of that, it's got tons of minerals in there. And your body needs those minerals and amino acids in order to support the immune response so you don't feel totally wiped out. So very, very key. Oregano oil. This is a really great essential oil. And just in general, oregano, whether it's fresh or dried, is so good for your immune system. So I would definitely recommend using oregano or oregano oil on a regular basis. And there's many different ways you can do it. You can absolutely use it outside of your body with a carrier oil. Okay, so like for example, a teaspoon of coconut oil with a few drops, 2 to 3 drops of oregano oil, and rub that on areas that are sore, or that basically like around your ears, for example, in the outer portion of your ear. If you feel like you've got an ear infection, or a child has an ear infection, it can be really, really powerful. You can do it on your throat. If you feel like you've got a sore throat. And so again, you don't need much of this. Oregano oil is really, really strong. So just a small amount. If you notice excessive burning, then you'll want to use more coconut oil, more of that carrier oil to help dilute it more. So remember that, that's key. But using oregano oil can be really powerful. Vitamin D, so getting out in the sunshine, again, so critical, not only for the vitamin D, but also biophotons in general. This will help reduce inflammation. It'll help improve neurotransmitter function. So you'll just feel better in general. You'll have less symptoms. You'll feel better. It is going to help reduce inflammation and improve your immune system. You're going to sleep better when you do this. So obviously that's going to help your immune system. So just getting out in the sun, getting those biophotons, stimulating that vitamin D production, so key for your immune system. You want to get out and you want to get in touch with the earth. We talked about that grounding, barefoot, on grass, dirt, sand, even if you're reading a book outside. That's a great idea, doing something like that if you're not feeling well, or taking a barefoot walk with minimal clothing on, so you get a good amount of sunshine. Unless it's the winter again, then you might think twice about that. Or if it's cold, you bundle up and take a walk. Movement in general is so key, but if you're able to do a barefoot walk, it's even better, because again, you get access to these free electrons that are coming up from the ground. That's free antioxidants, which is the same thing that's in, something like blueberries, right? They're loaded with antioxidants. Turmeric's loaded with antioxidants. You can get it right from the ground, right into your pores of your body, right through your feet or your hands or something along those lines. Feet are great. Hands are awesome. It's obviously easier to get it from your feet because we're typically walking on them. But there's so many nerve endings in your feet as well as in your hands. So those are great channels to get the natural, healthy electromagnetic frequency from the earth. So real key. Chiropractic care, again, spine and nervous system, especially upper cervical. That C1, C2 area seems to play the biggest role in immune function, and stabilizing that region will give your immune system such in a sense, a new life. Okay. And what I found as a chiropractor is that most people, when they are having frequent colds, fevers, or flus, or if they're under a stressful period of time and they have blockage and what's called subluxation right up there at the very top, their body can't adapt to stress well. And therefore, they're much more likely to develop a cold, fever, or flu, or not be able to overcome it quickly and suffer for a longer period of time than they should. So going and seeing a high-quality chiropractor, taking a look at that upper cervical, top of the neck region is so important for a healthy, strong immune system and help prevent and obviously, again, overcome a cold, fever, or flu if you're dealing with that. Okay, finally, vitamin C. We know that white blood cells, or immune cells, they need more vitamin C than any other cells. They have 50 times more vitamin C inside their cell than in the blood plasma. So there's a huge gradient there. And the challenge here is that we need the same hormone, insulin, which brings sugar into the cells. That hormone is needed for bringing vitamin C into the cells, in particular white blood cells. And so the white blood cells, though, they have a much greater affinity for sugar than they do vitamin C. So if blood sugar is elevated, we're going to get a lot more sugar into the white blood cell and a lot less vitamin C, and therefore it's going to have more oxidative stress, a shorter lifespan, and ultimately the immune system is going to be a lot weaker. In fact, they found that that when you have increased blood sugar, it impairs the phagocytic index significantly, and that's really the ability of a white blood cell to go out and to basically eat and swallow pathogens like viruses, bacteria, and yeast, and parasites. And if you have a blood sugar of 120, which technically is pre-diabetic, but that's only if it's a fasting blood sugar of 120. There's a lot of people that after they eat a meal, right? Like you eat a sandwich, your blood sugar is typically going to be way over 120. And so if you did that, if your blood sugar jumps up for an hour, 2, 3 hours over 120, you're impairing your phagocytic index, your immune system's impaired, abnormal cells are going to be developing. You're much more likely to develop viral infections, bacterial, parasitic infections. And then as you can see, a white blood cell can only destroy 25% as many viruses and bacteria when that's the case. So they're a lot less efficient and energetic, and therefore much more likelihood that the pathogen is going to be able to replicate, and the cold, fever, or flu is going to last longer. So we definitely want to avoid sugar, but then also add in more vitamin C. Some of the best vitamin C rich foods are going to be things like bell peppers, for example. They're a really good vitamin C rich food. green leafy vegetables, lemons, and limes. I would recommend doing a lot of those types of things. And then on top of that, supplementing a really high quality vitamin C. I like our Super C right here, which has got your vitamin C along with citrus bioflavonoids. And those bioflavonoids synergize with the vitamin C. So they give you exponentially greater lifespan of vitamin C, better oxidative stress protection, better strengthening of the immune system, and also really, really good for adrenals. Most people notice when they start taking this product, they just have more energy. And that's that combination of vitamin C and bioflavonoids will give you more energy, which we could all use, especially if we have a fever, cold, or a flu. Feel like we want more energy there. And it's going to help your body overcome that much faster. So this is a supplement I recommend everybody have in their cupboard. You may not use it every day, but especially periods of time when you're more susceptible to developing a cold, fever, or flu, pull this out, this Super C, and just basically take 2 grams or 4 capsules every hour or two. And that's going to help just really bombard the system with these antioxidants to help buffer oxidative stress, to help strengthen the immune system, get that all that vitamin C into the white blood cells. Meanwhile, you're on a very low carb and low protein, more of a very light diet, consuming lots of broth, hydration, and minerals, getting lots of that into your system. And if you do that, you're going to have a profoundly strong immune system. So, the H strategies, definitely follow those, and I guarantee you're going to see results. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed today's training. Start applying these principles. That's your homework now. You start applying these principles, and then give us feedback in the comments box. Let us know what you're doing on a regular basis to improve your immune system. God bless you guys, and we will see you in a future training.